Dude, it feels so much better. Oh my gosh. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I know it's been a little while, but I just got back from New York City, which was super fun. It's one of my favorite places ever. But unfortunately, there's no motorcycles there for me. So I actually ended up renting an electric scooter just to zip around town. And it made me miss Mini so much. So as soon as I got back to Houston, I was like, hey, you know what? We haven't really touched the KX65 in a while. So let's revisit it and continue on that series that we started, which was the build series. You might recall that a few months ago, we installed the big brake kit, and it really improved the stopping power for the bike. But what we didn't account for was the suspension travel for the front. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna install stiffer springs on the front to help balance out the suspension. So let me just show you guys what I mean. If you remember, we installed the H&R big brake kit, which uses the CRF 450 master cylinder as well as the calipers and the brake pads. So it's just a way beefier front end for braking. But the problem is that with the OEM springs, even if you stiffen it up and even if you have a little bit of heavier fork fluid, it's still gonna dive very, very easily. So basically, when you're riding on track, and we did a couple of track days with this, basically every single time you go into a heavy braking zone or a corner that you want to trail in, you're basically just like maxing out the fork travel in the first like third of the corner, and you have no more room to go, and it gets quite frustrating and quite limiting. So what we did was we went to mototriad.com and ordered custom springs that were set to our weight. And so what we're doing is we're swapping them out, and that should help balance it out. In addition to that, just to make a note, we also previously installed the ZX10R rear shock, and that's helped the rear sag a lot less. And so now what we're trying to do is just balance the front out. And I think once we do that, then it'll be a really, really nice combination of both the front and the rear, and they can work together just to perform a lot better. In addition, we're gonna be putting on new handlebars and new bodywork, because the bodywork is quite beat up now after like a year and a half of continuous mini riding and track days. So yeah, so we're gonna give the KX a lot of the TLC that it needs and deserves. So let's get started. So before we get started, if you could please leave a like for the video. It really helps with the algorithm and helps other people that are into mini bikes or into motorcycling on track in general find the channel, find the content. If you're new here, I'd really appreciate you consider subscribing to the channel. We're all about motorcycles, big and small, on the track. With that out of the way, let's get started.
Ka-chow.
Ka-chow. So before we get started, we're gonna clean the bike up. So I only have like a one-car garage, and the garage is at capacity at the moment. So I've had to leave the KX outside for quite a while, and so we had a ton of pollen and dust and all that stuff. So we're gonna get it cleaned up, and then we'll get started on the actual build itself. Okay, so when you guys order your fork spring set from Mototriad, they're gonna ask you for your weight and for the bike that you're riding, obviously. And what they'll do is they'll send the springs along with these PVC pipe spacers. It's literally PVC pipe. And they'll pre-cut it based on your weight, and also a set of instructions. Essentially, all you need are just your basic tools for, you know, removing your forks and that kind of stuff. And then you've got your springs, your spacer, 20 weight fork oil fluid. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove the forks all together, remove the fork caps. We're gonna drain the oil from there, and then we'll install, fill the oil and then install the spring and then the PVC pipe spacers, and then reinstall the cap and then just put it all back together. So it's not a complicated process, but just make sure you have the stuff that you need. So loosen the fork caps there. Yep. Cool. And then we'll take the forks off after that. Yeah. So yeah, we have to remove the whole front wheel assembly, the big brake kit. Let's get it off right now, basically, and then we can get the forks off. All right, so the front wheel assembly is off, and then now we're loosening the top and bottom fork mounts. There you go. I'll hold it here.
Hold it.
Yeah, I got it. Nice suit. Boom. Forks are off.
Part out.
Part out the bike. Right. Here they are. Quite a simple construction. Nice. All right, so we've got the forks off the bike, and for each individual fork, we're gonna drain it and then add fresh fluid into it. So secure it to a vise here.
Ooh.
We'll discard that. Oh, here are the springs. Okay, so we'll keep the spacer. These are the old springs, which are a lot softer. Yep. Wow. Is that the OEM length?
Yep.
Wow. Oh, we should compare it side by side. Huh.
So you see that the spring is stiffer?
Yeah, a lot. It's a thicker. Oh yeah, it's way thicker. So you guys on the left-hand side here, that's the new spring for our weight, and the right-hand side here is the OEM spring.
The gap is smaller?
The gap is a lot smaller too, yeah. And then we also have this whole PVC pipe assembly.
OEM with just a spacer.
OEM with the adjustment spacer.
With this spacer.
Our aftermarket springs with the spacer here. That should be a significant change in stiffness, yeah. It's awesome. Okay.
Oh, gross.
Ew.
It's like foreign drink.
Super old oil from like so many hours of riding. It's gonna get the fact. It's gonna get the fact. So we've got this fork oil tool, and we're gonna set it to 120 millimeters, essentially, from the compressed fork. So make sure that your forks are fully compressed. And then what it'll do is it'll let you pull out any excess fluid, which is a really neat tool. And that's what we're doing here. Easy. So easy. With the right tools. Boom. So now we've pulled out the excess fluid, and it's now 120 millimeters from the top of the compressed fork. And once that's done, then you're going to drop the spring in. Fully extend, drop the spring in, and then the spacer goes in. Sorry, the spacer goes in. Yep. Slide in the fork cap. There you go. Nice. Sweet. Oh, tighten a smidge. We'll do the final tightening once on the bike. Boom. Does it compress now?
Of course it does.
Yeah, we knew what
I
we're
know how
doing.
to do this. Wow.
Wow.
Oh,
It is
yes.
stiffer, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's. Oh, we should compare. He's got the stock one. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's that much movement on the stock springs with a little bit heavier fork oil, and then here you got much more effort. Nice. Okay, so basically just rinse and repeat on the other fork, and then once you're done with that, we just reassemble everything. So we will do that now. Boom. All right, guys, so we made some really good progress. The fork are back on, the forks, both forks are back on, and everything's reassembled in the front. We put new brake lever guards as well as a new handlebar. So everything looks really nice and spiffy now. In addition, went ahead and slapped on some new plastics as well. So just making it nice and clean again. It's been, we've neglected it for quite some time, so she's definitely come back alive, which is really exciting. And then last step here, the last step here is to saw the fender to fit, because I think they make these universal fenders that fit like everything, which is kind of ridiculous. So we marked it up and we're gonna install it and then slap it on and we're good to go. Let's do it. Professional. So professional. So straight. We're gonna sand it down, I think. Make it look a little nicer. Oh, dude, it feels so much better. Oh my gosh. It doesn't actually just dive anymore. It's really, really nice. Yeah, okay. Let me get out of the way. Whoa, okay, so significant improvement, like way better than before. So just even riding on the street, you can feel that there's a huge difference. It feels like the front and the rear are working better together. The brakes definitely are not as terrifying because you're not just gonna flip over the bike. So what we're gonna try to do next is actually head out to the track to get some laps with the bike to see how it compares to where we were last time with the bike before we did the suspension upgrade. That's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any comments or questions, please leave them below. It's always really fun to hear from you guys. So I hope you guys had fun with this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks. Peace.